Oh, he's late again. What's wrong with this guy? He's always late. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. There's my fancy. Wait. Let's do the fancy beginning, and then I'll jump right into it. We're going to do tons of questions. Tons and tons of questions today. Yay. Let's do the fancy opening. Where is it? There it is. Let's get you some tunes. Oh, yeah. All right. 1 second. Hold on. Let's do this one. I think I can leave that open. All right, let's do it. Let's get the blue light glasses and let's do it. Let's move it over here. I'm going to jump right into questions today. 1 second here to see what is going on. Cool. We're just bonking all over the place already, which is pretty much what I thought. Google's got a bid. Let me just mute these people with their beeps. And move this over here. All right, cool. And let's do it. Start at the beginning and get to it. Just take questions, and I'll work the rest in. I know we'll get into the indexes, so we'll just work it in. Let's do it. Show comments on stage. What does this do? Chat overlay lets you display live comments directly at your stream. Please note that some platforms have specific guidelines. I don't know. Let's hit the button. What's it do? Oh, it puts them in the corner. Do we want that? I don't know. Do we want this? I don't think so. I don't think we want that. What's tall do? What's wide do? I don't think we want anything to do with this new function, do we? I don't think so. I think it's annoying. All right. Yeah, I think it's Hazlitt or Hazlitt, whatever the guy's name is. Everyone just say, "Oh, he's not real." Okay. Yeah, he should hire somebody. He should definitely hire somebody he hates. That's not going to work with him. That makes so much sense. You should always hire people that don't agree with you, and you should always hire people that are going to make your life harder. Okay, for your agenda. AEO Asan. So AEO Asan. So, I love the Fed independence stuff. Nobody ever gets into the fact that when the Fed injected $1.7 trillion in the stock market, why it did it. Where was Fed independence then? Then it was okay because NFTs, they were JPEGs. JPEGs were NFTs. Then it was okay. All right. I don't know, man. You should have gotten through yesterday. You really should have got through. The gross margins, I'll tell you what bothers me about this, John, the most thing that's most troubling about this more than anything is the gross margins and the tariffs. And even Macy's said it. So it became a real concern. I think that's why Kohl's dived yesterday. I think a lot of these things are starting to look at this and go, wait a minute. Because with AEO, every 20 million is 150 basis points of gross margins. So it becomes a problem. And I do think that's going to be an issue for it. I don't know what this thing is. Please go away. So I don't know. I'm out of the majority of my trade. I did very well with it, but I'm out of the majority of it. Trying to look here. What are you doing here? What is not working? What is working? All right, Oracle, they're going to whack around today. I don't care. Just trying to see what they're doing here. If anything of consequence. Let's just keep going. Asan, I'm not interested in second-tier players right now, man. Like at all. I'm not saying it can't work. You guys killed it yesterday with this thing. Like absolutely slaughtered it. You've got the volume, but second tier, zero interest right now. You know, it's very clear you're at a bottom, John, but it's not my kind of trade in this kind of market. So I'm trying to figure out what they're really trying to do. And it seems to me that they're really trying to buy. So we'll see. We'll get to it. 7-day bull flag forming. Yeah, it's super interesting here because if we take a look at the SPY, for example, hold on one second. I'll show you this. So, if we look at the SPY, like nothing's really changed. And I will go through this because I think it's important. Let's get rid of this. But when we look at these levels, you flipped. And, I don't know if this is going to move back up, but I talked about the point of control flipping and it did. It moved right to where those VWAPs were. So I do think that that's really interesting to say the least. So you can see that pretty clear here. Hold on. I'll show you. So you can't like miss it. It actually like dropped. It's pretty fascinating. So hold on one second. Let's go back to it now. So what do we do now? I think you really have to watch how this plays out up here more than anything, but I think it's super interesting. I'll give you that. That 685 is going to be really something, right? So when you really look at that, like that's going to really be like hard, but it's there. You definitely have a flag. You can see it, and now you're trying to get through it. Now, this was the thing that really got me yesterday. All that nonsense. And we closed at a new high. I'm like, all that BS, Microsoft's going to miss earnings, but like those people should be removed. The information, they should be removed from every single news platform whatsoever. Every single one. I used to get their stuff. I canceled it yesterday. So that was just crazy. It was so obviously manipulation. It wasn't even funny. So if you take a look here, you get a new closing high. And that closing high, like, I don't think people are looking at it the same way. This is kind of how I look at it. So that's my closing high on the SPY. How many other closing highs do you have that are up there? 1, 2, 3. This is your fourth all-time closing high, and we're debating on what the market's going to do. This is your fourth all-time closing high, and we're debating what the market's going to do right now. Right? So that's how, it's like a frog in boiling water, man. You know what I mean? It's like a frog in boiling water. You get so used to just being hit over and over and over again. That's like when someone hits you with a jab over and over and over again, and then they throw something else. You just don't see it coming because you're so used to defending the jab. So anyway, but it's definitely something there that you really have to pay attention to. And I'd be real careful here. I'd be real careful having that intent that we just have to roll back over. Especially really shook me yesterday, what they did. So we'll see what happens today. But if we go and take a look at the Qs, very similar behavior. I'm not saying you can't backfill, but very similar behavior. So if we go and take a look at the Qs, which we don't have set up, so that gives us the opportunity to do it. And we just kind of drop it down. We know that the call wall didn't move. So we know we're up here like 630. So I'll see if any of the services, I get a couple different ones, but I don't think we moved. When I did it last night, I do them by hand. So, because sometimes it's different than these services. I get cheap services and expensive services, but like this one, you're right around the same area. And then what we do is we just clone it here, and it's a right there, 590, and go from there. And so like, I don't see you getting to that, man. Like, I really don't see that as the be all end all, like at all. So really what I would be more focused on is like that 620. Maybe you get there tomorrow, maybe, but realistically, like that up here, I think you can go. I think you have room. So I'm more interested now in buying dips again. That 617 level held like a charm. So if it does it again today and we get panic, I'm more of a net buyer into the panic than anything else. So that's kind of where my head is right now. We'll see how that plays out. But that's really kind of how I'm looking at it. So that's kind of how I say it. I don't think that there's a lot here. Let's do it this way while we're on it, John, and we'll go this way with it. All right. And here you are again, that volume profile high, right? The value high, point of control. So I think you just want to understand that you're there. Drop that one in. Do it. And then let's go to the SPY. Go look at that bad boy. And I think having a more of a longer term understanding of where you are, and it doesn't mean you can't break out of it, but are you going to break out before Friday? I don't know. Before war with Venezuela, apparently. So who had Venezuelan drug kingpin and on the bingo card this year? I didn't. I definitely think it's you try to figure out like what's going to derail you. I don't know. I don't know what derails us. I keep going to, I wonder if Russia, Ukraine derails us. You keep hearing about Trump talking about peace, world peace. And then you hear like, Putin basically like death to Europe. You're like, oh, that's going well. So I don't know, man. It doesn't really sound like peace. I mean, I've heard what peace sounds like before. It doesn't really sound very peaceful. So, you go back to this time where you sold off, and then you look at like November where he came in, and that's when they started this actually, right? This thing like in November. And you understand that this is when he started talking about they were going to force Germany, make them pay their fair share. Every president likes saying that now, don't they? Pay your fair share. They just change what the fair share switches to. But if you take a look at that, Germany has to increase it by a third, something insane. Italy does, Poland does, Spain does. So there's a lot there, man, a lot. So it makes you wonder, right, John? So, but I wonder, like, what is the thing that's going to derail us? Like, what is that thing? I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's just keep going. But I don't know. I think about it a lot. Like, what is the thing that's going to derail the market? Because it sure as hell is not Microsoft missing earnings. Not yet, anyway. It's very clear that was a bunch of crap. So, I mean, remember when I was talking about this at 600? And like, this is one of those things you just buy and you forget about. Remember, Jerry? Remember? Rick, remember the barbecues? All right, let's keep going. Good morning, Ricardo. Good morning from Virginia. Virginia is beautiful. They still have those bumper stickers? AXONOSK. AXON. No. That's interesting. See how it held? It never gave back. You have a control bar here. And you got that doji right there. If you could work with me, not against me, that'd be fantastic. There it is. There's your level. You can say it too. Bonk, 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 bonk. Breaks it, bonk. So that's your level, man. How was your volume on that? Nobody sold. Yeah, you had the earnings people that did it for the trade. You know, a lot of people talk about light volume. You guys realize that when you have seller's exhaustion, they're not going to just buy again. And that's why bottoming processes have below average buying, right? Like you guys do get that. Everybody wants some like massive buying off the bottom. Like that's it. You only get that when you stop all your liberation and winning, right? That's the only time you're going to get that kind of stuff. You have to have a macro policy change. I like your second idea better, bro. Good things are well, Ricardo. I think so. I think that makes a ton of sense, right? So I think so, man. You know, you're really, it's a really good point, Ed. That's a really good point. I don't know that Micron seems to scare people. I get why Micron scares people, but I love that they're bidding down this morning. I love it that they're like, oh, you better get out. Better get out now. Okay, boomers. Oh crap. Hold on one second.
Order cancelled.
Thank you, British guy.
Order cancelled.
Thank you, little British guy. I forgot I had those orders out there. That would have been awful. I mean, I say this all the time to people. So you need to, like, if you're a long-term guy, you know, Ed, like if you're a long-term guy and you don't own this, like I own this in an account and I just don't sell it because there's no reason to. But it's buying a company. Like when you start doing stuff like that, you're buying a company. Like you don't care if it goes from 900 to 300 and like not everybody wants to do that or hear that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like not everybody wants that. So you have to realize that this goes in cycles. If they start doing more bookings, this thing's going to go through the roof because the bookings have been down. I don't know what that is. So if they start doing more bookings, they're going to rip because they haven't been doing bookings. I don't know about the DRAM. I have a service that actually I chart DRAM prices. What gets me is the Google comment, right? So Google's like, hey, Hynix, we'll take all your chips. And if you look at Google, Ed, like, what stock hit a higher high yesterday? You know, like what I would really do if I was you, but you should do what you're comfortable with, is start going through all the names and start looking at what names have like their top 3 closes of all time. John, what do you got for me? What are you doing? Lots of beeps there. That's a lot. It's pretty aggressive for 9 a.m. in the morning. A lot of beeping. So let's turn this. Let me get rid of this beep. I can do that. I can do stuff. I'm smart. I'd be looking for those kinds of names that did that, names that did that yesterday, that closed at highs, that had huge volume, right? That's what I would do. You should do what you're comfortable with. The ASML makes so much sense when you really get it. Like when you're like, oh, well, how the hell are they making all those TPUs? Well, you're not making them in, you know, your bathtub. It's not meth. So how are you going to make them? My camera went down. I think I have backup bonding. Hold on. There we go. You know, it's crazy to me that the $12 camera works better than the $800 camera. It's like absolutely insane to me. So I see where you're going with it. I do think Taiwan Semi, yeah. Like I got hoodwinked yesterday. So I get out. Like if when someone says Microsoft's going to miss earnings, my initial thought is Microsoft's going to miss earnings. This could really be the end of the bubble. This could be a real problem. We could go through like a 97 where a lot of this stuff came in, they flush it out. You start getting the winners and losers like we did into 98. It starts getting who the winners and losers are. And I think we are getting into that. And I do think Microsoft's going to be a loser on this. I think Google's going to be a winner. But it takes them all down at first and then it flushes, right? So I killed it shorting Microsoft yesterday. And then that news came out. Microsoft's like, we have no idea what you guys are talking about. And it became very clear that that was either planted or that they were played. Either way, it's gross. I don't mind a level playing field, but you know, when you tilt the board over because you're losing. Anyway, so TSM, did you note how you came all the way down and that you closed at new highs? Like, yeah, you're dead on. Like, that's why I'm spending so much time on it. Like, you're dead on there. This was super interesting because you didn't make a higher high. And this thing looks like if gross was a chart, that's what gross looks like. You are not keeping up with the market at all. Not at all. So it's to me, there's something going on. And I'm wondering, like, and again, I'm not an expert. I'm fortunate enough to have people in the room that are, but like when I ask things like, hey, you know, does TPU use as much energy? And they're like a tenth. Hey, does it use as much storage and memory? Like a tenth. Okay, so like maybe there's something on the DRAM side or something with SanDisk's product that doesn't fit into TPU. And, you know, I read like, so I get semi-analysis research, like their institutional level stuff, and I read it. And I was on a plane. So I had like this thing was like 36 pages and I read it. And the only thing that I realized is I don't know anywhere near as much as I probably should. But I don't know if SanDisk product and how it fits into TPU. I will say that if you go and take a look at this, since this all started, you know, SanDisk has not gone up. SanDisk has only gone down since TPUs have gained traction. So it makes me wonder how they're differentiating. And I know there's a differentiation, but look at the differentiation between those two products. And then look at the differentiation in how they're treating Western Digital and how they're treating Seagate. So there's definitely something to it, right? And also the storage, like the storage, they all of a sudden they wanted it and now they don't. The IREN super interesting here, by the way, but we'll see. We'll go from there. So it's really good point, John, or Ed. I'm sorry. I got to avoid that name for now. What's going on, Jay? Let's get through some of these. So RR, you know, man, we were playing with this thing since $2 back here. You know, earnings are out. What happens with it? Robots, no robots. Bro, do you see a robot in anyone's house right now? Like I see a robot, like I see quantum computing. So if I want to play with robots or any of that stuff, you buy Tesla, you know, unless you're willing to own this stuff and leave it alone for years. I bought this stuff back here. I bury it. I haven't done anything with it. I literally have done nothing with it because it's an idea. But I don't know, man. You know, I think people have to like extend their timelines. Like if you look at Tesla's timeline, He's the classic example of over promise and under deliver, right? Not for the shareholders, not for shareholders, but for, like look at the Cybertruck's going to change everything. Cybertruck can't fit drywall in it. So like, how's it going to change everything? You can't even use a contractor, can't even use it. So, and they're hideous. Sorry if you own one, but, so the whole robot thing, like when we were promised, what was it? What were we going to have this year? We got 3 weeks left, 4 weeks. What were we going to have? We were going to have driverless cars everywhere. Everyone was going to be leasing cars, and it was going to start in Austin, and it was going to spread like wildfire. They do not have one car that's operational, like full time, running through Texas right now. Not one. There's not one car running through Texas on autopilot full time yet. So the timeline on this stuff, it's always longer than we think it is, and it's always more impactful than we think it is, right? Just like the internets. It's always more impactful than we think it is, and it's always longer than we think it is. And it's usually a winner take all. I do think they have a shot, this RR. That's why I buried it. NBIS, I own. I like the long-term story here. I would look into why their clients are their clients. I don't think Netflix is going to win this thing. And I think they're spending a lot of time on it, and I would avoid it until they figure out what they're doing, but I don't think they're going to win. Super interesting what happened yesterday. Down 1, 2, 3. Is that all we're going to get from a dip perspective? I would have liked more. It's possible that's all you're going to get. If that's all you're really going to get, you really got to go out there and say, yeah, I want to buy it, but I don't know, man. Like, strap yourself in, buddy. Maybe if I got down here and reversed, maybe, but I bought this thing. I started buying it in here. I think it was here I bought the break. I think I bought this breakout. Like, I'll just start scaling into it. And then like all of a sudden I was down like $12. I'm like, well, this is just awful. And I just stopped. It's super hard to do that trade. It's the same way with this one. It's like, I look at this, and earnings and it's super hard, but is that there? I don't know, man. I think you're better off playing some of the names than those things. But, some of these names are they're nonstop, they're just nonstop. So this one's coming back to life. I started picking at this one, but apparently I'm the only one, and now it's down to the $5. No, I couldn't do a video last night. I had too many conference calls, and then I had some consulting and coaching calls. Last night was insane. It was a slap in the face yesterday for sure. For sure. What's going on, Brent? Hi, Brittany. The Path, I don't know the story of. People love this name. They're all about this name. They think it's the cat's pajamas. I don't know enough about the story. I'm sure it's CRM. You should do what you're comfortable with. But, I would imagine that, we'll see. I don't know, man. You shouldn't have to be paying people to buy your product. So if it's so great, right, they should want it, right? The real trick is going to be what happens here. And that's the bar. And we've already got there and tested it. So there's if I don't break that before the open, there's a really good chance I'm going to get out, reset, and then kind of get a sense of where to go with it. That's kind of where my head is off the open. Oh, Hims is. That's cool. What's going on? No good morning from San Francisco. Just get right to it. Huh? Well, good morning from Miami, Grace. NVIDIA. Let's do it. I really think this rejection says it all. I like NVIDIA a lot. It's a long-term, to me, no-brainer, but I do think that they're going to have problems with margin issues because of AVGO. Even if people don't switch to TPU, they're going to go, well, maybe we'll switch to TPU. And that's going to add pressure to NVIDIA. If you look at the competition, it's something like, I think they were saying they're shaving like 30% off the prices in some point for NVIDIA to not look at getting involved. Like they don't want to get into the tit for tat. So they're willing to cut prices like big time. And they're doing it for equity stakes so that they're not hitting the gross margins, which is super interesting. Because people are like, why would they take an equity stake? And it's not because the companies don't have money. It's because they are doing it because they want to avoid cutting the gross margins, right? So what does that mean? Like, why do you care? Because only so many companies are going to do that. And then they're going to get to a point and they're going to be like, we're not doing that anymore. And then NVIDIA won't want to do it either. So I do think a gross margin is coming, but I also think at the end of it, that's probably going to be a buy when it goes through that, because then they're going to have like super Blackwell and super Rubin. And you're just going to have this level where it just keeps going like that for years and years and years. I do agree with what Elon said about NVIDIA and Google. I mean, I am in agreement there. You know, I think there's going to be massive value creation. And I think the people still thinking like this is it, I don't think they have a clue. I really don't. So like how long, like people really grossly underestimate how long these cycles go on for. We're still in an internet cycle. If you think about it, like think about Amazon from 25 years ago. You're still in that cycle. Thanks, Mon. Good morning. See, Monica's nice. Grace is just like, get to it. Answer my question. I think you're right against a key level, man. INTS, I don't know, JL. Claims are a mess, dude. Data's a mess. Hello from Tokyo. There you are. What's going on? You know, I don't know that you're going to need as many data centers as they think. And they're taking longer. Savings is going up. Savings is at 5%. Credit card data is going up by 8%. Income is not rising anywhere near as fast as the credit card debt. Is that good or bad for these companies? I don't have an answer to that. It's not something that I would do. I get it why. It might actually work, but not for me. Spot's one of those names, bro, you just kind of buy. I can't buy that. I say that, but I can't buy that, man. Like I need a turn of some kind. You know, just let it burn. And, you know, you'll pick it up at 200 probably again. Like it's so hard to trade this name. Oh, look, good earnings. We finally beat and exceeded all expectations. Stock's down. Womp womp. Oh, we're missing. We're missing all-time highs. Oh, we beat earnings. Like, good luck, man. Good luck. You know, it's not an easy one. I own it. I don't trade it. Oh, we're about to get a death cross. Ooh. I don't think it's bottomed. Bluffing. A couple of guys were whacking this thing around in the room. I think you had a good move the other day. I'd be careful now. I don't know, man. What are we doing here? What just jumped? Something jumped. What's the cat's pajamas? Something's moving. Oh, someone just realized that they sold NVIDIA. Oh, there goes my TQQ trade. What else is moving? Someone's like, wait a minute, we sold our Microsoft? Yeah, Boomer.
Your attention, please.
Oh, God, this thing.
Your attention, please.
Hey guys, I might wrap it up. I'm going to give it one more minute. All right. If they do it again, I'm going to have to wrap it up. They did this all day yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. What do you got? What do I think of ARC Q? Sorry. Yeah. Here we go again. Okay. Let me see if we can get through this. It's insane. They've been doing it for the past 2 days. Like, test it, call it a day, man. I like RQ. You got to get above the 55. You have to get above the 55. Until then, I don't think you go near it. They're going to do it again. Hold on. All right. Sorry, guys. In regards to Robo, that one makes more sense to me by looking at the chart. Give me a second. Let me see if I can pull this off before they start doing that again. Give me 1 second here. So Teradyne's their top holding. ISRG. Let me see something. Yeah, very different holdings, dude. So if you go look at ARC, for fuck's sake. And then so the top two there are KTS or Tesla and KTOS. If you look at Robo, it's Teradyne, okay, and ISRG. So I think you're better off looking at Robo than KTOS, but you have to make that decision. I got to call it, guys. I got to go. I got a bunch of crap to do, and I got to rip these alarms out of the walls. So let me see what else I got. Good morning from Buenos Aires. Yeah, you got to love Miami. Because then they put the fire alarm out, then they say it in 3 different languages. So, Meta, we went over. But Meta's jumping? Is it? Well, at least the fire alarm went off so that my alarms didn't go off. That's good. So I got that going for me too. That didn't cost me anything. Let's see what we got here while we're on doing this. Oh, they're going to do it again. Hold on. Here we go. He's cutting Metaverse. So he's cutting his costs. I think it'll help. I think it'll help. I got to jump, guys. I'm super late and I have a headache. So I don't know, man. I don't know that that's the thing that's going to jump him. He's definitely taking funds from Peter to pay Paul. I'd be careful with that. That might not, I don't know that that's going to hold. So I'd be careful there. I'm not so sure that's going to have the desired effect that people think it is. I think that was probably pretty understood that was coming. So I got to jump, guys. Trade to win.